The sheet music sat on the organ in the captain's cabin, waiting for hands that would never return. The final notes of a melody, perhaps a hymn or a shanty, hung in the silent air. Outside, the Atlantic stretched endlessly, indifferent and vast. This was the Mary Celeste, found seaworthy, yet abandoned. 10 souls, captain, family, crew, vanished, leaving behind their belongings and a 6-month supply of food and water. The unfinished song was a silent testament to a moment forever interrupted. What could compel 10 people to abandon a sound ship in the open ocean? The question has haunted maritime history for over a century. The ship offered only cryptic, unsettling clues. It was as if the crew had simply stepped off the edge of the world, leaving the ship to drift on. The Mary Celeste became a symbol of the ocean's deepest mysteries, a ghost story written in salt water and silence. Our story begins not with chaos, but with a quiet, ordinary detail, an unplayed piece of music. To understand the silence that consumed this ship, we must look back to the beginning. Our story begins in New York City, autumn 1872. The ship, once called Amazon, was renamed Mary Celeste after a string of misfortunes. Captain Benjamin Spooner Briggs, known for his skill and calm, took command. He brought his wife Sarah and 2-year-old daughter Sophia, making this a rare family voyage. The crew of 7 were all experienced, hand-picked men. Their cargo won 701 barrels of industrial alcohol, bound for Genoa, Italy. On November 7th, the Mary Celeste sailed out under clear skies. The ship's log recorded routine days at sea, weather, position, daily life. The last entry, November 25th, placed them near the Azores, noting rough seas but nothing alarming. After that, silence. For 10 days the ship drifted, crewless, until it was found. What happened in those 10 days? The ocean keeps its secrets well. The Mary Celeste's secret is one of the sea's deepest. The Atlantic in winter is a world of isolation. Gray water, gray skies, endless horizon. For the Mary Celeste's crew, this was daily life. A small community afloat in a vast wilderness. Captain Briggs, a seasoned mariner and family man, brought warmth to the harsh crossing. His wife and daughter added a rare touch of home to the voyage. The crew, mostly Germans and Danes, were professionals with no record of discord. The last log entry placed them near Santa Maria, battling heavy weather but on course. Then, nothing. The log falls silent. The Mary Celeste continued, but her story was no longer written by her crew. The 10 souls aboard crossed into the realm of the unexplained. The ship sailed on, empty, a mystery adrift in history. On December 5, 1872, the Canadian brigantine Dei Gracia spotted a ship sailing erratically between the Azores and Portugal. Captain Morehouse recognized the Mary Celeste and, concerned, sent a boarding party. The ship was sound, not sinking, but eerily deserted. The deck was empty, the wheel unmanned. The crew's belongings, boots, pipes, sea chests, were left as if their owners had just stepped out. The galley was tidy, food stores full. In the captain's cabin, clothes were laid out, a child's toys scattered, a sewing machine left mid-stitch. The ship's papers were missing, except for the logbook. The lifeboat was gone, a rope trailing in the water. There was some water in the hold, but not enough to cause alarm. 9 barrels of alcohol were empty, but the cargo was mostly intact. No signs of struggle, violence, or piracy. It was as if the 10 people had simply vanished, leaving a perfectly preserved, haunting mystery. The Mary Celeste was a stage set for a play whose actors had disappeared. The missing lifeboat was the most tangible clue. The davits were empty, a frayed rope trailing in the water. It seemed the crew had abandoned ship. But why? The Mary Celeste was seaworthy, the water in the hold manageable, the weather survivable. Captain Briggs was not prone to panic. The cabins were orderly, belongings undisturbed. It looked like a calm, deliberate evacuation. But what could have prompted such a choice? The missing lifeboat is not an answer, but the beginning of the enigma. It's a puzzle piece that refuses to fit. The salvage crew found Captain Briggs's sword under his bunk, stained with a reddish substance. At first, it was thought to be blood, a sign of violence or mutiny. The theory gained traction during the salvage hearings, fueling suspicions of foul play. But later analysis suggested it might be rust, not blood. There were no other signs of violence, no bodies, no struggle. Why would a mutiny leave only a single stained sword and an otherwise orderly ship? The sword remains an ambiguous clue, evidence of mundane decay or a hint of hidden violence. It offers no answers, only more questions. Mutiny was an early theory. Perhaps the crew turned on Captain Briggs for the valuable cargo. But the crew were trusted men, and their own valuables were left behind. Piracy was unlikely. The ship and cargo were mostly untouched. If not human malice, then perhaps something monstrous? Sailors have long told tales of sea monsters, giant squid, serpents. Could terror have driven the crew to the lifeboat? There was no evidence of such an encounter, no damage, no struggle. These stories endure because they give shape to our fears. But in the end, they are just stories. Whispers against the silence left by the vanished souls. Some theories look to nature for answers. A waterspout, a tornado over the sea, could have terrified the crew, prompting a temporary evacuation. Or perhaps the cargo was to blame. 9 barrels of alcohol, made of red oak, may have leaked, filling the hold with explosive fumes. Captain Briggs, fearing an explosion, might have ordered everyone into the lifeboat as a precaution. They could have planned to stay nearby, but a snapped rope or sudden squall left them adrift. This theory explains the calm evacuation and missing lifeboat. Once in the open sea, a storm or exposure could have doomed them. It's a logical, if tragic, explanation. A chain of small misfortunes leading to disaster. Sometimes the simplest answer is the most haunting. The Mary Celeste's fate may have been sealed by nature's unpredictability. Over 150 years later, the Mary Celeste remains a legend. The ship herself was later wrecked for insurance, but her story endures. 10 people vanished. Their ship sailed on. We are left with fragments. The unplayed music, the upright sewing oil, the sword, the missing lifeboat. These are not clues to a solution, but pieces of a puzzle that refuses to fit. The mystery endures because the evidence contradicts itself. Perhaps the answer is simple: a storm, a leak, a moment of misjudgment. Or perhaps it is something stranger, beyond our understanding. We will likely never know. The Mary Celeste sails on in legend, a ghost ship on the ocean of the unknown. Her story reminds us that the world is still full of mystery. The final log entry was written on November 25, 1872. After that, only silence remains, a question echoing across the waves. What happened to the people of the Mary Celeste?